Again, a Happy New Year, Blessed New Year to all, and glad you joined us this morning. Tom Irvin is a music teacher at the University of Arizona, and he was attending a music conference there in New York. And while at the conference, he bought this talking metronome. A metronome gives you the beats to music. Anyway, heading back home along with his son, he's at the airport and put his bags to going through security, and all of a sudden security guys see this black bag and their eyes widen like, whoa, what is that? So they ask him, what is that, sir? And so they take it out, and out comes this little 6x3 black box with dials and knobs on it. So, well, what is that? He said, well, that's a talking metronome. By that point now, all the other travelers, they're nervous, and they take off. This doesn't look good. So they scamper out of there. He goes, it's a talking metronome. Here, let me show you. And realizing that he's not sure how it works. He turned the dial and gives 1, 2, 3, 4. Whew, sigh of relief. And so he packs it away, and his son tells him, gee, Dad, aren't you happy that it didn't go 4, 3, 2, 1? Whoa. Well, I wasn't with you on New Year's Eve when you had your own countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so I do want to again wish you a happy, blessed New Year. And how many make resolutions? Raise your hand. Anyone made a New Year's resolution? All 2 of you. Okay, great. Wow, 3. All right, so not too many. But anyway, today I offer you, I don't call them resolutions, but really maybe a lifestyle change, perhaps, if it fits in. Again, that doesn't promise you a Happy New Year, because I'm never quite sure what that entails, how you define what a Happy New Year looks like. But anyway, this lifestyle is based on our Magi, following their example. And the first example we get from the Magi is this: avoid, eliminate toxic people from your life. That's the first thing we learned from the Magi. Avoid, eliminate toxic people from your life. Well, that's what the Magi did. It was King Herod. They meet with him. They said, please come back. Let me know where the king is so I can go worship him. But what they do? They don't. They avoid him. They take a different route. Oh, he's toxic, King Herod. He's nuts. He killed his father-in-law. He killed several of his wives. Well, he even killed 2 of his own sons, his own children, for he's worried that they may take his power, take the chair from him. And of course, he's the one killing of the innocent children. So he's toxic. And so they avoid him. And I suggest to you as well to avoid toxic people from your life. Now, I don't think anyone has a King Herod in their life. But toxic means people who are negative. People who tear down. Constantly tearing down. Constantly complaining. Only seeing the bad side of things. People who gossip, enjoy criticizing and tearing down others. That hurts. That affects you. It affects you. It says here, by hearing that, it peels away your neurons in your brain's hippocampus region, which helps your problem solving. It weakens that. In fact, if you are on a steady diet, even if you just see it on TV, you take on that behavior. You become negative. You become toxic. So you have to avoid them. Eliminate if you can, or keep a healthy distance. You say, well, wait a minute. We're Christians. We're supposed to love everybody and accept everyone. You could be kind. You could be courteous. But you need to keep them at arm's distance. I mean, we do that already. Again, my apologies to any smokers here. But I'm not going in a room where there's people who are smoking. I'm not going where there's secondhand smoke. Many of you are the same way. We avoid it. If they're smoking, we're out of there. Am I right? We avoid it. Well, the same thing with toxic people. You have to avoid it. It would affect you emotionally and even physically. And I said, the worst thing is, the more you're with them, the more you become like them. So it's the first thing we learn from the Magi, to avoid toxic people in your life. And hopefully, you're not a toxic person. That's the first thing we got to assume, okay? The The second thing we learn from the Magi is this. It's generosity. They are generous. They go to see the newborn king. They go see the Lord. They're not there to ask for something, want something, but to give something, right? The gold, the frankincense, and myrrh. And we've been here so many years now that we are to give, right? Not gold, frankincense, and myrrh, but from our time, our talent, and our treasure. Generous people are never unhappy people. People who will give are grateful, and they have a certain happiness and a joy about them. Generous people are happy people. Probably never heard of Zell Kravinsky. He made his money real estate in his native state of Pennsylvania. Oh, he made millions. But he decided that life was more than simply fatting up his own bank account, and so he decided that he began giving money and his real estate away to those who needed, to different charities. In fact, the last count, he gave away $45 million. This made his wife very nervous, and his family and friends like, whoa, what are you doing? He said, oh, don't worry about it, he said. I can always make more. I guess he had that knack. And if he did, he said, I'll just give it away. But then he wasn't satisfied in simply giving the money away. Then he gave away a kidney to a perfect stranger. With that, his wife said, that's it. I can't take it anymore. You're out of your mind. But luckily, she was taught to calm down and to accept and to love her husband, who was a generous man. He said, I'll keep doing it. He said, I wish I could give more body parts to those who need it. So generosity. You don't have to be like Zell. That's a bit extreme. But to give of our time, our talent, and our treasure. And third thing we learn from them is really prayer. To take time to be quiet, to be still, and to listen to the voice of the Lord. For the Magi heard God speak to them. He spoke to them, it says, in a dream, whatever that may look like, whatever dream may have appeared. Has God speak to people? Is God's voice speaking to them, hey, do not go back, take a different route. And so prayer leads us to hear the voice of God. And when we pray also, we have this contentment, a joy as well. You've probably never heard of Matthew Richard, but he has been designated as the happiest person in the world. He's a monk. And one thing the monks do is they pray. And so they had to study at the University of Wisconsin, and they wired up his brain. And they noticed excessive activity in the brain's left prefrontal cortex, which was abnormally large, which holds your capacity for happiness. So he had this unusual large capacity for happiness because of his prayer in union with God. And we spoke last Lent about praying, of having your prayer chair. It's essential, it's important. Each and every day, take time out to be still, to be quiet, to be in prayer. I mentioned that Deacon Bob passed away. Gratefully, I was able to see him last night, thank God, up there in Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. He was not speaking, but he was able to hear. And speaking with his wife, Joan, one of the last things he did verbally was like the night before, she said all of a sudden he began to raise his arms and he began to sing, Yahweh, I know you are near. He began to sing. And since he began to pray. For Deacon Bob was all these three things. He was a positive blessing to our church. He was overly generous. And a man who prayed. And so yes, he had a happy death. Surrounded by his family, loved ones. And one of the last things he did was arms outstretched. Singing in prayer to God. And so as we begin this new year, again, I don't know what a happy new year looks like for you. But if a happy new year means no problems, everything works out, everything goes my way, no difficulties, then I'm afraid I are not going to have a happy new year if that's what it takes. For there will be challenges, there will be difficulties, it's life. But I truly believe if you can want to eliminate toxic people from your life, live a life of generosity, and spend time in prayer, you will have an inner peace, an inner joy, and an inner strength. And you will have a blessed and a happy new year.